Today we are talking about the things that I learned on my first ever solo trip to Japan. I know I was a little bit lost when I started my research before I decided to go solo to Japan. So in this video, I just want to give back a little bit. We are talking hotels, airport, food, theme parks, name it, we have it. Hello and welcome, my name is Stella and I currently went on my first ever solo trip to Japan. It was absolutely epic. If you want to see my adventures, I will link them below. Today we talk about everything that I learned on that trip, and I can tell you it was a lot. And just to take it up front, traveling solo as a woman to Japan was surprisingly easy. It was surprisingly easy to navigate. I felt safe at any time. I had no problem whatsoever to communicate. Thanks to translation apps, they are a great invention. Also the Google Translate function where you can just hover your phone cover over any kind of scripture. You basically know what's going on. That helps a lot. It helps a lot when you're shopping. It helps a lot when you are eating out, or if you are trying to figure out which train is going in which direction. I was surprised, and I for sure would love to go back for a longer trip and in more remote regions of Japan. This is how comfortable and safe I felt on that. First on, I would like to talk flights. I was shopping around for flights as you do, as I do. I'm coming from Europe where you have a relatively long flight time, especially due to the fact that from Europe you cannot fly over Russia. That means the route goes either south, this is what we did on the way to Japan, or on the way back we actually flew the other way around over Alaska and Greenland. Nonetheless, either way, it's a 14-hour flight. I opted for business class just to have a little bit more comfort, and I feel that was a great decision, at least for me. I'm fully aware that not everyone is in that position, not everyone can carve out the money, but I can also give you just a little hint that if you are shopping around and if you are booking well in advance, you even might find deals with business class or premium economy. From flight times, I'm coming from Europe. My flight landed very early in the morning in Tokyo. The good thing is that immigration was basically done in 20 minutes, and I think this is a big learning for me. If you are arriving that early, not much is open when you come into the city. And also from the hotel side, I could store my luggage there. There was just no way that I would get an early check-in to the room. The room would be ready at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and that's the deal. I took from me the learning that I actually can take my time at the airport, especially after this long flight. Probably have a coffee and breakfast after immigration in the airport, and more important, also have a shower in the airport, because there are shower rooms and all the facilities that you can wish for. And then after you are fed and watered and taken care of and refreshed, then take the limousine, bus or the train into the city. I took it straight away, and then basically had to, a little bit struggle through the day. I have to admit that it was a lot, especially also in the Tokyo heat. We come to that a little bit later. I was very happy when at 3 or after 3 I had my hotel room and finally could take a shower. I would switch that around the next time for sure. Talking about hotels, for all of the hotels I stayed in, and I stayed in a couple of hotels because I basically was switching hotel every 3 or 4 days. Early check-in wasn't an option. I could store my luggage there, but there was no access to the room. You get accustomed to that, it's fine, and then you just try to arrange accordingly. Also, big surprise for me was that you get very nice, very affordable hotels. Also very central. I had hotels close to Tokyo Station and also a great hotel very close to Kyoto Station, and they were well under $80 per night, which is great. They were very clean. I had breakfast included in most of those hotels, and also those hotels, or at least some of them, had a traditional Japanese hot bath, and an onsen included. Some of the bigger hotels, especially in the Disney area, also had an outside and an inside pool. And on the baths and on the pools there is a huge bath. I wasn't allowed to enter any of the traditional Japanese baths because I have tattoos. It is a thing, yes, and it is culture and tradition in Japan, so there is just no arguing. On the pools, there is, for the outside pools, they weren't open yet because the official summer season only starts in July, and we were in June, and even though the weather was very summery and we had well over 30 degrees and it was super humid and I would have loved to have a pool, there was no pool. And also, if the pool is open, keep that in mind, is an extra charge. You have to pay for using the outdoor pool, and also you will only be allowed there for a limited time. So different country, different customs. I also heard stories that for the pools that they basically ask you to leave the water every 30 minutes, so that you basically have a mandatory bathroom break. I love that kind of story. I haven't experienced that because of, again, the pools were not accessible when I was in Japan. I can also tell you that in my last hotel in the Sheraton Tokyo Bay, there was additionally an indoor pool that was open free of charge, and you could just use that, but they were asking you in the indoor pool to wear a bath cap. Otherwise you were not allowed, but you could rent them. You could rent them out. I think that is for sure worth knowing before you go, because otherwise you might be disappointed. Another point on the hotels, they were providing slippers to use. They were also providing pajamas, and they were providing a toothbrush and toothpaste and all kind of bathroom products even in the middle class non-luxury hotels. On the pajama side, they were providing a fresh pajama every day. I couldn't use them because I didn't fit into them. There's size F. I don't know. I didn't fit into size F, and I would argue that most Western people do not fit, because even if you are very slim and skinny, they are very short, and it wasn't it. On the breakfast side, I love the breakfast. They also had Japanese dishes on the breakfast buffet, but they had also Western stuff. So it was, yeah, just very, very nice, and a little bit I miss my dumplings and miso soup for breakfast, because I really enjoyed that, to be honest. Next on we have trains, and again it was surprisingly easy to navigate the trains. There is a whole law on the GA or the JR Whale Pass, the JR Whale Pass. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? I'm very sorry, you have to crunch your numbers. I didn't get it because for me it wasn't worth it. As a kind of general remark, I think it might be worth for you to get this if you are using the Shinkansen, so the high-speed train a lot. I was only using this train from Tokyo to Kyoto and back. And apart from that, I only used local service that is super duper duper super affordable. And I mean it, it's just a couple of dollars per train ride. So it just will not add up. Even if you use this excessively, it will not add up and justify this rail pass thing that went up in price a lot. For the local trains, I had my Suica card. You just tap in and tap out, and you can top it up with your credit card. So it's like a prepaid card that you have in your iPhone wallet. Super convenient. You can also use that to pay at vending machines and in 7-Elevens. So that was my go-to and probably the card I used most in Japan because it was just so freaking convenient. For the Shinkansen, I was a little bit worried about the Shinkansen, and then all the worries just went away. First worry was the luggage situation, because the information I got up front is that you can only take cabin-sized small suitcases on the Shinkansen because there is no space for bigger suitcases, and I can tell you this is just not true. First of all, you can reserve your seats, and you can reserve seats with a extra luggage room. Those are the last seats in a carriage, and behind those seats there's plenty of space to put whatever you need in there. And then also those overhead storage things, you can put a big suitcase easily on the overhead luggage storage. Just keep in mind you need to be able to lift it up there. And I have seen people who tried to get a 25-kilogram suitcase up there. That can be a hassle. So it's more the weight of the suitcase than the size that is a problem. So keep that in mind, but in general it's not a problem. What is a problem are people that try to use the extra storage that is behind the seats even if they have not reserved the seats. And I can tell you the conductors and the staff in this train is very well alert, and they will remove this luggage if they find it, and then just go through the train with the suitcase and ask people if it's theirs, and if it's yours, then you are very friendly and politely asked to put it in the overhead compartment. But actually, and this is the other advice, you need 2 tickets for the Shinkansen. One is for the train and it's including your seat reservation, and then you need a second ticket that is for the distance between your starting point and your destination. I was a little bit overwhelmed by the frequency because I mean, I'm coming from Germany, we have a great public transport system, but that is absolutely next level, and those trains are punctual. They are so freaking punctual. I cannot tell you my excitement as a German again how punctual those trains are, and the fuss that is made if this train is 1 or 2 minutes delayed. I wish we had this here. I miss that so much. And the train ride in itself is just it's fast, it's efficient, it's very comfortable. There's just good things about Japanese trains. I could go on for hours. Food. What can I tell you about food apart from my surprise how affordable food is? How much money you can save by actually go to your next 7-Eleven and, you know, substitute at least 1 meal per day there. How affordable it is to get a great bowl of ramen, how affordable it is to get to a great sushi place. I mean, the food is just great and you don't need to spend a lot of money. In general, I mean, everyone was telling me how expensive it is to go to Japan. The most expensive thing is for sure the flight. If you go a little bit off the beaten track, if you get a little bit out of the super duper touristy areas, you get along and can save quite some money. The same also goes for shopping. If you're not shopping at Donkey, where every tourist goes, yeah, you can just save a lot of money. I miss the food as much as the trains, I can tell you that. And especially, and I have so much love for that, the ice cream. Japanese ice cream is the best. It was very hot. I had a lot of ice cream. This ice cream is not melting directly. It's not too sweet. It is super great. I have so much love for Japanese ice cream. Sorry, it's very random, but yeah, here we go. And then last but not least, we need to talk theme parks. I went to Disney and I also went to Universal, and neither Disney nor Universal I went rope dropping and just stood in line before the park opened, which is crazy. You can spend hours in this line and then just access the park as the first. From my experience, you don't need to. You will, if you come at 9:30, which was round about my time. The park opens at 9. If you enter at 9:30, there is no line whatsoever at all, and you can still get for Disney those standby and fast passes. They have a system. I talk about that a little bit in my Disney videos, so please check that out. They are crowded, but they are also quite spacious, so it doesn't feel that crowded, or not as crowded as Florida, for example. But 2 days per park I don't think is enough. It wasn't enough for me. Also, I was struggling with the heat a lot, especially on my second part in Disney Sea. But then I think the biggest advice that will go for every park is you cannot do and see everything. So you have to prioritize, and you have to, you know, make peace with yourself if you're not able to access something that you really want to see. Also, that was the thing with Universal. Some attractions might be closed due to maintenance. Jaws was closed, Jurassic Park was closed. Okay, this is just life, you know. You are there, it's pretty cool, and you just have to go with the flow. For theme parks, also the food was amazing. It was absolutely great. The merchandise, and I'm very open here, I was disappointed with the Disney merchandise in Tokyo. I was especially disappointed by comparing it to the merch that they have at Aulani, for example. Aulani also has like Duffy and Friends, and they have Orume, which is this little turtle. So they also have that, especially in Disney Sea. But apart from that, there is very specific merch for Tokyo, but the merch is pretty much the same in every shop. So you cannot just shop around, and there is a huge variety of merch. The merch for the new Fantasy Springs area was kind of restricted because there's only one gift shop in this area, and the line to get in this gift shop was just crazy. They had a little bit of Fantasy Springs merch also at the Emporio, which is one of the big gift shops at the park entrance in Disney Sea. All in all, I wasn't super impressed by the merch, especially by shirts, and I was hoping for a hoodie. There were no hoodies at all. There were no suitcases, because it was clear for me that coming in with a rather full small suitcase to Japan, might want to get a second one. I was hoping for a cute little Duffy and Friends, beautiful friendship, whatever kind of suitcase. In the style that I saw in Aulani a couple of years ago. There were not a single suitcase to be bought at Disney, which is quite surprising, because I think they are missing out of making some money here. I mean, I love my merch, and I didn't spend as much money in Disney as I thought I would. If you would like to know what I bought, there's also a haul video that I will be uploading probably next week, not this week, but next week. So check out my Instagram. This is where I'm announcing all my new uploads. I mean, I love the theme parks. It was cool to be there. It was on my bucket list. And I think those were the things that stood out to me. Japan can be quite overwhelming. I think you have to get used to the fact that there are just so many people, especially in Tokyo. Your mind cannot really grasp that you are in a 34 million city. This is a crazy number. But as soon as you get out of the city center, things get really relaxed and zen, and I think it is a absolutely great country to travel in, and I think there is just so much to explore and understand and to learn that is yeah, I just have a very full heart. I fell in love with Japan. I definitely fell in love with Japan. That being said, let me know if you also plan a trip to Japan or if you plan any other solo trip in the near future. And I thank you so much for watching. Stick around, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you real soon. Bye!